Hi, in this video I'll be showing you how to create this lovely seed stitch here using some 10mm bamboo knitting needles and our super chunky yarn in raspberry, all available from our website. So to get started, we'll be using a series of knit stitches and purl stitches. If you don't know how to knit stitch or purl stitch, then find the link to those videos in the description below. You can also check out our YouTube for lots of other tutorials on how to get started and different stitches and techniques. Seed stitch is created by using a repetition of knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, and so on. You always need to make sure, to keep things simple anyway, that you're using an odd number of stitches. So here I've gone for 11 stitches and I've already knit some rows so you can see what the texture looks like here. It's a reversible stitch, so it looks the same from the front and the back, and it has quite a good structure, so it holds its shape really well. So let's get started. Like I said, we'll be using knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, and so on. So first of all, let's make a knit stitch. That was easy. Now, to transfer between knitting and purling, you want to make sure your working yarn's always in the right place. So for knit stitch, your working yarn will be behind. For purl stitch, your working yarn will be in front. So bring your working yarn to the front and then work your purl stitch like this. Then for the next one, which is a knit stitch, we need to take the working yarn round to the back and then work your knit stitch. Then, you guessed, working yarn to the front and work your purl stitch to the back. Those stitches a little bit close to the edge. Knit stitch, then to the front, purl stitch, to the back, knit stitch, front, purl stitch, back, knit stitch, front, purl stitch, and last one to the back, knit stitch. So the reason this ends up looking like seed stitch and not like rib stitch is because we have an odd number of stitches on our needle here. Whereas with rib stitch, in my patterns, we use an even number of stitches. This means that you always start with knit one, purl one. You don't have to remember to start with purl one, knit one. Now let's look at the anatomy of these stitches. So our first stitch was a knit stitch here. So you can see here it's created a bump on the back, but on the front, there's a V. Then the second stitch was a purl stitch. That's created a bump here. Then the knit stitch has created the V, then a bump, then a V, and so on. So when creating seed stitch, the reason you get this crisscross effect is because you are knitting your knit stitches and purling your purl stitches. So if you think for our last row, we did knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. So our last stitch was a knit stitch. Then on the next row, our first stitch will be a knit stitch as well. So we knit the knits and purl the purls, and that's what gives us this crisscross effect. So let's do one more row, just so we can practice. So knit with the working yarn behind, purl the working yarn in front, knit with the working yarn behind, purl with the working yarn in front, and just keep going until you reach the end of your row. So if when you're trying to create seed stitch or rib stitch and it ends up looking like the opposite that you're trying to create, it might be worth counting your stitches just to see how many stitches you've got on your needle, whether they're odd or even, because that could make a massive difference. So I hope that's helped and you've enjoyed the video. Check out the rest of our YouTube channel for more. Thanks!